it's alive. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've finally done it. At least technically, certainly not cosmetically, but here it is. My Hauptwerk organ is finally playable. Over the last couple of days, I've managed to wire up the pedal with all of its electronic components and magnets and whatever else it needs, and it worked an absolute treat without any worrying about it at all. Fitting the magnets, fitting the contacts, the reed switches in the right position to get everything to work was an absolute breeze. Wiring it all up and setting it all up worked absolutely perfectly. So it's playable, as you just heard. That was the final part of Frank's pièce héroïque, a piece I promised to play 10,000 subscribers ago. I promised to do that for our 25,000 subscribers. So we're almost at 35,000 now. So now, with this at home and still Corona outside, there's absolutely no stopping me. Obviously, it still has to be finished cosmetically, so we need to get the lovely sort of woodwork to go around it, a nice little case. It's not going to stay here in the home office. I've just set everything up here now for testing purposes, basically, and I'm trying to get to grips with this incredibly complicated piece of software called Hauptwerk. Excuse me. Now, there are a number of people out there who've been suggesting to me, why Hauptwerk, why not Grandorg, why not other things, I've no idea what they're called. And the simple reason is, I just like Hauptwerk. I did, about a year ago, or maybe even longer now, I did try downloading Grandorg and sort of trying to set it up, and I only had my one little keyboard there. And I wasn't very enamored with it, has to be said, sorry about that. And it just kept pulling me back towards Hauptwerk because of the possibilities you've got in there. Now, there are so many things I don't know about this software yet. For example, how to record things. Now, Hauptwerk has its own built-in recording item, or shall we say its own recording I don't know, interface, I suppose you could say, and it records a MIDI file and an audio file, which is rather clever. So I will be, once I finish recording this, I will be cutting this all together in Premiere Pro for YouTube. So let's hope that that works. It's the first time I've tried this, so I have no idea. Hoping it works. Now, some of you keen-eyed viewers will have already seen a little iPad here. And there's a little piece of software called Duet. Now, I'm not advertising anything for anybody today, but Duet is basically, you can use your Mac screen and send it or parts of it to the iPad. Now, this is an old iPad. I was actually almost ready to throw this away. It is falling apart, but it works, so that's the important thing. And I thought, no, I shall keep it. It will be my first touch screen for my Hauptwerk usage. So yeah, we've got it, we're using it, and I'm using it at the moment to arm and disarm the recording. I've got the recording screen sent over here so I can do that. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what we've done here to get this ready. to show you today, basically. I'm so excited that we can finally get some music going. By the way, hang around until the end, because I'm going to be playing not only this free instrument, that's the Eisenbart organ you find in a Fraser, and that's a free or a cost-free sample set from Grabowski, a young Polish chap, who makes some rather wonderful ones. But I also have a free cinema organ sample set, and I'm going to play a bit of jazz later on as well. So get ready for that. Right then, I've set up the organ, obviously, as it should be. I've set up the lower 3 of my manuals to correspond to the 3 manuals of the organ itself, and I'm sticking to the way the organs are the manuals are set up on the original organ. For example, this lower manual is the Hauptwerk, then we have the Schwellwerk, then we have the solo, so the great, the swell, and the solo. Other organists around the world who play with Hauptwerk and things, they like to sort of change the order so that they're playing the way they're used to playing. So they would have the great in the middle and maybe another manual somewhere else and whatever. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick to the way the organs were built originally, mainly because in the days before Corona at least, and hopefully one day again in the future, I sort of travel around the place playing organs all over the place, as you know. And you can't sort of walk up to a new organ and say, well, actually, I want the great to be in the middle. Sorry, it's at the bottom. Well, okay, get on with it. So I'm leaving it as it should be. Now, of course, that means I've got my 4th manual here free to do other things. And this is the wonder of MIDI. So what I've done, because, okay, I've got my touch thing here with an old iPad, but I'm just using that to arm and disarm the recording at the moment. I could use it for other things like individual stop control, but we'll get to that in the future. So what I've done, I've set up this organ with some general combinations. Now, I don't have any pistons here at the moment to do that. That will come once all the woodwork is there. So I don't have that, but what will happen is I will, of course, then have my piston controls. I have pistons down for my feet, I have pistons here for my thumbs or fingers or whatever. And until then, I have to sort of control this some other way. So what I've done, I've taken some individual keys of my 4th manual to control the registration system. For example, when I press middle C, I can move, as you see here, I can move forwards in my registrations, and I've sort of put 16 general registrations together here, from the softest sounds of the organ right up to a tutti sound that you just heard, by the way, for the front. And let's say I want to move backwards, well, then I just press the B and I can move backwards. So I've set the organ up to do that. And once I'm finished, if I press bottom C, I have a general cancel, which is rather clever. So that's the beauty of MIDI. Anything that creates a MIDI signal can be used to control anything that can be controlled by a MIDI signal. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? So I'm using this to move my registrations backwards and forwards at the moment, which is quite handy. So that's what we're going to do. So let's play a piece of music. Ooh, this is exciting. Finally, I can play music again. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to waffle about in that very British of ways that we do, and go from the softest sounds to the loudest sounds of this wonderful organ here. And the one thing I can't show you today is the swell feature. In other words, the opening and closing of a swell box, quite simply because I don't have any swell pedals installed on my test organ yet. I have to sort of build a contraption in front of the pedal board where the swell pedals will be fixed. And that's not here yet. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. That'll be something I'll have to work out with my wood expert to get that sorted out. So there will be no swelling today. It's just swell is open and it will stay that way. But you get the idea. You get the idea. Okay. So here we go then with an improvised piece on some theme. I have no idea what. I'm just going to start playing. We'll see what happens. All the way up to a lovely big tutti. So enjoy. So I hope that recorded. I think it must have done, because it looked like it was doing something there. So let's hope that worked properly. That was sort of a, like I say, just a waffling around there. I was more concentrating on sort of what the organ itself was doing than what I was doing. So if there's any sort of academics out there paying attention to what I'm doing, please ignore it. It's just a bit of sort of harmonic waffling. There you are. That's how we're going to describe it for today. So there you are. That's a brief introduction to that instrument. Now, the wonders of Hauptwerk means that I can install any sampled organ and enjoy it. Now, funds are of course going to be a large part of this, because a lot of the organs out there are incredibly expensive to buy. I'm talking upwards of 500 euros per organ for, you know, the really good things out there. And in the future, I will of course be splashing out on some of these. And I don't know, maybe there are some sample set providers out there who'd be willing to help me out a little bit there. That would be kind of cool, because I love demonstrating organs, as you know, so maybe we can get that sorted. But like I said, one of the wonderful things here, it's not just church and concert organs, there are also cinema organs. So I'm going to load up a cinema organ here and show you what that can do. Looks a little bit different now, doesn't it? Yeah, and this is the joy of Hauptwerk. I can load up any kind of organ I want, and here I have a little cinema organ. This is what's known as a 3-manual 10-rank organ. Now, if I swap the screen here, you can sort of see, there you are, that looks like a cinema organ, doesn't it? With the horseshoe console, all the different colored tabs, the 3 manuals, and so on and so on. And what I've done here is, because you can see there are sort of millions of buttons on a cinema organ for all the different effects and things you can do, but there are also general pistons there. And what I've done, I've set up 2 octaves of my 4th manual here to control general pistons, and for some reason that's, oh, I've got 2 doing the same there, but never mind, I've obviously made a mistake. So I've got 15 keys dealing with 15 different pistons, and that gives me sort of a bit of fun. Now, normally with a cinema organ, you're constantly playing with the swell pedals, because the entire organ is enclosed, not just certain divisions of it. So like I say, I don't have any swell pedals at the moment. So here, my swell indicators are wide open all the time. So any cinema organ freaks out there, please excuse me, I don't have any swell pedals today. So I'm just messing around with the preset generals that are already there. I haven't changed anything. These are the ones that came with the organ. So if you want to download this organ for yourselves and play around, you'll get exactly the same sounds out. This is the Hauptwerk Paramount 310, as it's called. So you can find it on the Paramount Organs website and download it for free. Now, there are much larger theatre organs on that site available for a fee, and I dare say we will get round to demonstrating them one day, like I say, as and when funds allow. So anyway, here's a bit of jazzy stuff on a theatre organ. I hope you enjoyed our little introduction to my test organ here today, and we will be featuring this organ very regularly on the channel, which is great because it means I can start creating a lot more content for the channel, but also a lot more content for those who help support the channel. We've got Patreon members, we've got Steady members, that's a kind of German version of Patreon. YouTube membership is there as well, and some people help us out just simply donating something via paypal.me, which is absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much for all your help, and in the future, of course, you will be getting a lot more content, which is rather wonderful now that I can do this from the comfort of my own home. So there will be a lot more repertoire, a lot more tuition series, a lot more how-to and making of and things like that, a lot more content. So if you are interested in helping us out, you will be greatly rewarded for your financial contributions. So there we have it. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed our little introduction. Here's a bit of something jazzy at the Paramount 310 from the Westerwald here in Germany. There's no reverb on this organ, by the way, so it's a very dry sound. I hope you don't mind that, but that's what cinema organs sound like. They're mainly in cinemas which have dry acoustics, so there you have it. So here's a bit of jazzy stuff to close off for today. Hope you enjoyed that. Back very soon with a lot more organ music. See you then. Bye-bye.